Pen and paper. Look in any literacy classroom and you'll see them. Their use has been part of learning to read and write for centuries. But pen and paper aren't the only instruments used for writing, and increasingly we find ourselves using other devices. In recent years, the decreasing cost of semiconductors and the increased availability and speed of wireless access has led to the birth of a new generation of mobile computing device, often referred to as a netbook. Smaller than an average notebook or laptop computer by half and far lighter, these devices are intended for basic document production, email, and internet surfing. Sharp competition among Dell, HP, Asus, and other manufacturers of netbooks has pushed the retail price of these netbooks below $200 in some markets. While these devices are somewhat less powerful than their larger siblings, their size, price, and capabilities make them an attractive means for creating a web-based literacy classroom. Computers replace pens, blogs replace paper. Students publish their ideas instantly, and their peers read and respond to them. Teachers moderate this electronic community through the use of a password-protected blog site, created and managed with the assistance of the school's technical manager. But what do students have to say about this?
I think the best advantage to having netbooks in class is that other students and teachers can comment on your work once you're done, and you can get good feedback and change your work to make it a better grade because of it.
It's nice to have your own space to do it, because if you need to use the computer in other classrooms, you have a bunch of people on one computer. With this, you can just do it, and you can save a little bit of time.
The netbook is small enough, it's small enough so you can fit your notebook and the netbook on your desk, so you can look at your paper and type it at the same time.
Yes, I think it has helped me a lot. I seem to write a lot more, think about what I'm writing. It's helped because you get comments back, so you can go back and read those and then figure out what you need to change and everything.
I think that there are a lot of advantages for us using the netbook. Spelling, we can communicate better with our teachers to see how our pieces are going.
Advantages for like we get to look at everyone's pieces instead of like if it was on paper, you'd have to like show the whole room. So that's an advantage, just seeing everyone's work and then giving feedback to them and then getting it from them back. So
it's easier for us to get feedback because we can just type in something, say, can you look at this, and then we can get feedback, and probably later on that class period we can go back and look at it instead of having to wait like 2 or 3 days just to go look at it. Well, they've helped me as a student because instead of actually having to write out everything and make sure everything's okay on paper and it's actually legible, we can just turn it in and have the teacher read it from there instead of having to turn it in and remember, or in some cases forget. I think it's easier because also when we have the netbooks out and we're reading or something, or we're typing in something, we can always just be like, can you help us out? Can you post a comment on my reader response or my choice piece or something? You can just say, can you do this for me?
I think that us turning the work on a blog has helped me better as a student because I can see how other students have done it to see if I'm doing it correctly, and I can do it at home better, so that even if I don't have that class or I miss school, I can still turn it in to the blog now late and on time.
When you forget your homework or like you don't know how to write a good thing, you could just look at the example that the teacher wrote, so we'll know how to write a good writing.
The revision process goes a lot more smoothly. Kids are more, they're less reluctant to revise their own writing because it's just a matter of going in and changing their writing on the blog. They can bold their revisions, which makes it very easy for them to track and then reflect on, and it makes it very easy for us to see, and we can connect that back to the feedback we had given them before or the feedback they received from their peers.
I think the biggest thing is, for me, one of the biggest things that I really like is that I'm not carrying home stacks and stacks of papers all the time. And I think that kind of reduces some of the stress that I have as a teacher, like, when you have that big stack of essays or whatever that are weighing on your shoulders to take home, and then you go home and you're not taking care of your family, you're not taking care of your outside of school responsibilities. Well, Now I don't do that because it's all on the blog, and so I have my computer with me, which I would probably have with me anyway if I'm not at home. And what I have the ability to do is if time comes up and I have the ability to grade it, I can. One thing that I see a lot of as a co-op teacher is that it kind of evens the playing field, so that kids that have issues with spelling or handwriting or any of those kind of disabilities that make it a little bit harder to understand what they're trying to communicate with us, whether it be about their reading or their writing, the blog has the ability to kind of even that playing field, so that when they write on the blog, we get rid of that disability, and so it kind of serves as a great resource for some of those kids. It's a nice scaffold.
I've noticed that my students tend to write more, and it isn't just that more is better, there's actually better quality. So they're writing in greater depth, they're writing with greater fluency. They seem to be a little bit more aware of an audience, the need to edit as well as just revise the content, and we're just getting better quality work than what we saw with pen and paper.
One of the things that I think is a huge benefit of maybe not even necessarily just the netbooks, but just having the blog as well, is that there are examples that we have done with the class that we can post on the blog. And so when a student starts working or whatever and then gets home and can't remember what they did or can't remember how to do it correctly, they have that resource that they can get onto the blog and they can see exactly what we did when we demonstrated it, because usually what is on the blog is a demonstration of what we did with the kids that day. Then they have the ability to go on and look at that and kind of restart that brain or give it a jump start. The other thing I think is very valuable is that students have the ability, if they've looked at ours a whole bunch of times, we can actually send them to go look at other students' work too, so they can see, are they right on track, are they going where they want to go, and having that ability for them to communicate with each other.
It's immediate. They can post things and turn around and just start looking around at other students' work and providing feedback. And we see conversations happening. That's particularly important around the more creative kinds of writing that we do sometimes with the poetry. The kids just really enjoy having that opportunity to put it out there and get feedback from their classmates.